Hey guys, welcome back to another Season 15 review with your two favorite gilfs. I am Maddy Morphosis.
And my name is Miss Liza, and today we will be reviewing the very first girl group challenge of Season 15.
And what a doozy this episode was.
Yeah, we have opinions.
Yeah, we do.
We'll get into them.
Yeah, we're going to put the segments. The segments are going to be time-stamped in the bottom. But we're going to talk about what happened this episode, the group challenge itself, the runways, and we're going to have a little rant at the end. So stay tuned for that.
So for this girl group challenge, the girls are split into 3 different groups. We have the country, heavy metal, and the hip-hop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one would you want?
I think hip-hop. The queens are fighting over heavy metal, which I guess I get why, but no one's even like fighting over hip-hop, and I feel like hip-hop would be the best category because you don't have to worry about singing. It's all about kind of the wordplay and the idea of like hip-hop grannies. I feel like it's a very easy category to work with. But I feel like all the queens are fighting over heavy metal just because they're like, oh, granny's doing metal, it's so funny. It's like, okay, but what are you going to do with that? Because you have to sing, you have to like, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's the hardest one. That's the least one I would want.
Yeah, me too. That was the one that I would not want at all. Like, I would want hip hop also because, like you said, like grannies doing hip hop and like popping their pussy with walkers.
Yeah.
That shit's funny.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to mess up. And then I would probably want country just because, like, you know, I feel like country is always easy to like make jokes about.
Yeah.
You know, like it's easy to make a funny country grandma. Maybe it's because we're from the country.
Maybe so.
Maybe yeah, but I think heavy metal would be the one I want the least.
Yeah, but I mean, they were going in. They were really fighting about it.
They were.
It felt very Bosco versus Lady Camden, who's going to be Saltine. It was very much, they're just like, well, I love that you think you're going to be doing heavy metal because we're doing heavy metal. It's like, no, we want to do it. So, well, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Because what you want to do isn't necessarily what you're going to do.
In the words of our Lord and Savior, Gia. But in the end, the girls do decide on who's going to be in what group, and they begin their rehearsals. I feel like they use this rehearsal time to kind of set up who was going to be in the bottom and who was going to be in the top.
I feel like the rehearsal, it didn't really show us much. I don't know, it just felt like filler. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that was kind of cut from the episode from time, and I feel like this rehearsal could have been much less. I would have rather had the runways been a little longer or seen more like Workroom Conversation rather than spending half the episode just awkwardly singing into a microphone. Me too.
I will say though, when Sasha Colby went up to that microphone and started like heavy metal singing, like actually really well. That was so crazy.
Yeah, she just walked up there, she's like, this is what the fuck I'm doing, and I was like, oh, okay, Sasha, damn. Always surprising us.
She's like, I really have to embody what heavy metal is.
Yeah. It's the moment she walked up to the mic, I was like, okay, she's going to be good this episode.
I feel like after watching the rehearsals, I could tell you who was going to be in the top, who was going to be in the bottom, who was going to be safe. As you guys can tell, we have very strong feelings about this episode.
Yeah. We're holding back now to save for later.
Yeah,
we really just let it all out.
We gotta reel it in.
I was upset by this episode, but we'll get into it.
We gotta reel it in.
And now the queens are getting ready for the challenge in the workroom and having some very deep conversations.
Yeah, I thought the conversation that Spice and Sasha had was really, really important and really beautiful about, you know, getting older, especially getting older as a queer individual and especially as like an openly visible trans woman. There's such an age difference between Spice and Sasha. Not that Sasha is old, but I feel like there's a big difference between a 19-year-old gay and mid to late 30s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even more so after that, like mid to late 30s and then like to 60s. You know, I feel like each generation of queer people has had such a different experience on what it means to be openly gay in history. And I thought it was a really important conversation to have on Drag Race because, you know, as later in Untucked, the old gays will talk about, you know, not every queer person gets the privilege of aging, you know, and it's just such a harsh reality that a lot of queer people live. And I think it's really beautiful that Sasha spoke about it.
I think Drag Race is kind of a fun show to watch. It's very entertaining, but it's like moments like these and conversations like these are a big part of why Drag Race has become such a huge part of like the cultural zeitgeist and, you know,
I agree.
Why it's been so impactful and influential.
It's such a great opportunity and a huge platform to talk about individual queer stories. And I'm really glad that we got a peek into Miss Sasha. Right before the queens go on to do the workroom, we see RuPaul wearing a t-shirt. And I think she looks fantastic. This is
Yeah.
probably like my favorite RuPaul look in a hot minute. I don't know, she's got legs.
It's moments like this, you're like, damn, that is a 60-year-old man.
Yeah, you're like, damn, this
Yeah.
person is old enough to be my grandpa, and she's out there serving legs.
Yeah, I don't know if this outfit would even qualify as a dress, but
No, it's a
yeah,
t-shirt,
but she looks
for sure.
great. Yeah,
She looks great. You're about to get a piece of the RuPaul cookie.
and now we move on to the actual girl group performances, and boy, were they performances.
They sure were performing.
Yeah.
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 Up first in the challenge, we have the Country Girl, which consists of Marcia, Mistress, Luxx, and Salina. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are I hated this entire challenge. I thought none of the groups were fun to watch, and that's not a detriment to them. Even like last season, like the girl groups, there's like funny moments, and I thought some of the groups were kind of fun to watch. I did not enjoy watching this entire thing. It's because they're all doing this number where they had to just like throw a random verse into this country song where you couldn't even like make out a lot like what they're saying. I had to watch it like twice to really hear like a lot of the lines because it just moves so fast. One comes up and they're just like, I'm an old lady and I'm country, yada yada, back pain. And the next one comes in like, oh, and I'm old too. My husband died, her. And it's just like, it's just boom, 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 boom. And it's just, then it's over. And it's just like, what the fuck was that hoedown? What was that?
No, they didn't even, I will say they didn't even line dance.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
I feel like if you're country old ladies, you gotta line dance a little bit. You know.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say it right now. I disagree with the judges a lot during this episode. A lot of things. I think Mistress did very well. I thought it was a lot of fun, but they said she really stood out from her group, and I didn't feel like she did.
Oh, really? I did. We were first watching it the very first time. I feel like a lot of times my eyes would go back to Mistress because she was doing just like small things that really captured my attention. Like she would interact with the other girls on the stage in a way that the other girls weren't.
Yeah.
And it just caught my attention.
Hey, but even then, I feel like Salina was kind of doing more because I noticed like whenever they're walking up, she was like even hitting it even harder and like she was really giving it. I was looking at Salina more. I thought Luxx had one of the best verses. She really kind of dove into like the I'm singing a little country song.
Yeah.
Whereas like Mistress kind of did like the typical. It felt almost more like a little hip hop verse in a country song. It didn't like fit as well.
Yeah, I definitely think that Marcia and Luxx had better like country verses. They sounded like they were singing actual country songs. Whenever Luxx started singing, I was like, okay, yeah, she's about to hold on, throw down out there and square dance in the barn. Yeah.
It was definitely more country.
It was very country.
Yeah.
It sounded good.
Mistress's verse, like I think she did well. Her verse, like the wordplay was fun. But like I said, I didn't feel like it fit the country vibe enough, like everyone else was doing. Because like Luxx was like singing country, like I was believing that character. Where Mistress was kind of doing the typical reverse. Ocean Kelly touched on this in like a Twitter space, where it's kind of like I came to the race, bust it down, look out girls, I'm coming for the crown. It's like that same flow. That's what Mistress was doing. I wasn't getting the yeehaw. I don't know, it's a small gripe, but I don't agree with the judges with saying that like she was like the one to look at.
I disagree. For me, my eyes were always going back to her. So
yeah, I was looking at Salina more, honestly. I feel like Salina was kind of doing a little bit more than anyone else, but I don't know. I feel like no one really stole the show. No one stood out, and that's just a detriment of the challenge and the way it's set up anyway. When you got 4 people in matching outfits, kind of doing one verse at a time, it's hard to really stand out.
I definitely think there's a way to stand out in groups like this, and I think Mistress did.
Well, agree to disagree.
Okay. Next, we're going to get a divorce.
Yeah. But overall, this is probably my second favorite group. Up next in the metal group, it's Malaysia, Sasha, Aura, and Spice.
Yeah, I really was not a huge fan of like the overall group. Like, I don't know, the music just was not doing it for me. I thought there were some really standout performances, like some people that did really well. Like I thought Sasha was really, really good in this. Not only was it something that's really different for her, but I thought it was just good. That I feel like a lot of the other girls, I don't know if it was because they weren't enunciating properly or the track was just too loud or like what it was, but it was so hard to understand some of them.
Yeah, it had funny moments, but I don't know, like Sasha, I think Sasha did the best, but Sasha also had the most understandable thing. She walked out and you understand all the words she did, and then everyone else came out with like the singing, and it just all happened so fast. It wasn't fun to watch. Again, like I'm gonna disagree with the judges the entire time. I agree with Sasha being in the top. It was entertaining, it was fun. I think Spice should have been in the bottom with this.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is like each group is assigned something very specific. All the country hoedown people, you know, they were given as little country. The hip hop group, which we're going to talk about next, they were, you know, hip hop verses and like the dance moves. With this one, it's supposed to be metal, and Spice came out doing the exact same thing that Spice always does. It sounded just like her like talent show number, where it's like, my name is Spice, I want to let you know. It's like that's how she was singing in this, which is very not metal.
Yeah.
And it's the same problem I had with her last week, why I thought she should have been in the bottom last week, because I felt like she's doing her and only her and not fitting the category.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair critique because she definitely, I think, was the least metal out of all of the people in her group. Like you said, she kind of just went out there and was like, my name is Spice and I'm here to say I'm going to make it different and I'm going to slay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just okay. Like, I thought Aura did a really good job also, but she was another person where I had to listen to it 3 or 4 times to even understand what she was saying. And it's not even all her fault. Like, I feel like the backtracking and then the mixing of the vocals on top was just not merging very well, and it made everything just a little too chaotic. And I get that it's metal, you know, it's supposed to be like chaotic or whatever, but this is my least favorite group.
Yeah. It's my least favorite, but not at the...
Yeah, it's not the girls, it's just the group.
Yeah, it's just what they're given, what they have to work with, it was not enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
It's like you're not able to do very much because they're like, okay, you're gonna dress up in as metal grannies in these outfits we give you to this song we give you. You just throw a verse in there and then just do a lot of this, a lot of
like where they're like crying the tears and stuff.
Yeah,
which is cheesy as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, this whole episode is cheesy as fuck.
Yeah,
it's not. I don't know. Sometimes the girl group challenges have good moments, but overall, like, I don't know who this episode is for. I don't know who watched this and was like, I love this.
Yeah. This is, like you said earlier, this is my least favorite episode of Drag Race in a long time. Like, I thought the girls did a good job with what they were given, but I just don't think it was well written.
Yeah. It all moves so fast. It's hard to process.
And then the episodes are short.
And then the episodes are short too. But yeah, in this group, I think Sasha is one of my favorite ones. I think Aura did well, but I think she's definitely like up there, but she's not the winner for me for this. And I think Spice was my least favorite. I feel like she did not fit the category at all. Yeah,
and Malaysia for me just kind of fell into the background. And last but not least, we have the hip hop grannies, which are Jax, Anetra, Loosey, and Robin.
Yeah, this is, I think this is the one that's the most controversial for me. Again, like, I disagree so much with the judges this episode. I think Loosey did really good. It is almost like she's doing her Joan Rivers again. Like, her old lady voice is kind of the same. But it's fine. It's fine. Like, it's like the way she talked. It's like this. Yeah, it's like, I'm an old lady. Like, in the same spot, like in her mouth and her throat. But it worked perfectly for this. I think it's just a circumstance from the Snatch Game to going to this. It doesn't take me out of it too much. I thought her lines was funny. I love that she also went from like little granny voice to like her regular voice. Just for, like,
I thought that was really cute.
It's very comedic. And she really sold like the old lady vibe. She's like, I'm an old lady doing all this. But I feel like that's the issue with some of the queens in this group is that like they're not selling the old lady. That's where it kind of loses me a little bit. Like they might come out with walkers and then they're just doing kicks and splits, which is kind of funny. But then I think the funniness of that comes from like, you're an old lady the whole time and then you drop into a split and back up. Not that you're just dancing and bucking the whole time. As far as the placements, I think Loosey is one of the top ones. Either her or Sasha is the winner for me. I think Aura's up there. I think she did great too. All the bottom placements are in this group, and I don't necessarily agree with them.
Yeah, I think Loosey was definitely one of my favorites as well. I just think she's really funny. I think she knows exactly when to play it really campy and when to kind of go a little bit more like serious. Not that anything about this is serious, but you know, like to go from the old lady voice into her regular voice is like that silly, stupid campiness, and then you have a more serious, normal voice, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think she knows when to play it, and she's really smart about it. Because if you can, like, kind of like you said with the, like, if you're constantly doing splits and kicks and dips when you're supposed to be an old lady, it's not funny. It loses that comedic effect.
Yeah.
You know, I think Loosey understands that. I think she did great. I agree. She's in the top for me as well. Her and Sasha, I think. Aura is also high. But I do think that the bottoms are coming from this group for me. I think Spice did not great. I don't think like, I don't think Spice did great, but I don't think she deserved a bottom placement. I think she deserved like a low placement because for me, I do think that Jax and Robin and Anetra didn't really do the category either. They were just dressed as themselves, pretending to be old ladies. Mm-hmm. You know, so I feel like they are falling into the same category as Spice. And Anetra forgot her words. Mm-hmm. Robin kind of just faded into the background. And Jax was like off the entire time.
I agree with Anetra being in the bottom, but she should not have been low. She should have been lip syncing tonight. She didn't know her words, which is like the number one rule of drag is like knowing your words. And they just put her low. But then they put Robin in the bottom, and Michelle literally said, the problem with your performance, one word, it was safe. That's it. Yeah. So exactly, she's safe. Yeah. What she did was it was not memorable, it wasn't great, but it was not lip syncing, going home.
I agree with you. Like, I do think that if you're gonna say that a queen's performance was safe and then put her in the bottom, like that feels like riggery to me. Yeah. Like, I don't agree with that. Yeah, her performance was very one note, and I don't think she really stuck with the prompt, but I don't think she deserved to be going home.
Yeah, I mean, and Jax too, like their critique was like, you were a little off. She was off with her dance moves, but like she knew all her words. I thought it was more entertaining than some of the other girls, like what she's doing. Like I love like she like did like a little walker moment, and she was like simulating a walker while duck walking. I think stuff like that, like she's in the character a little more than some other people. I thought it was safe. The ones that stuck out to me as like my bottom placement was Anetra because she did not know her words, and Spice because she's giving the same character each week. And I'm not saying that anyone did bad. Like this episode, I think this episode is awful. I think this is one of the worst episodes we've ever had, which I will rant about in a little while. But with the placements, I just like don't agree because you can't tell the queen that they're safe, that they were just kind of blending into the background, and then putting them in the bottom when you literally told someone else that like they didn't even know their words.
Robin Fierce, if you have one fan, it's Maddy.
I just had weird feelings about this whole like challenge. It doesn't make any sense to me, and maybe some stuff was cut that we're not underseeing, but I just don't get it.
After the girl groups are thankfully done, the girls they are tasked with the runway, and the category is tie-dye to die for. Mm-hmm. First up, we have Anetra.
On top of like one of the worst challenges I've ever seen and one of my least favorite episodes I've ever watched, this is one of my least favorite runways. I don't know the prompt they were given because I know like when you go to Drag Race, they say here's the categories and here's like a mood board, kind of like what we're looking for. A lot of these looks, it's technically tie-dye, but it wasn't feeling like tie-dye. Mm-hmm. And this is like a first example where it's kind of like mixed color patterns, but it doesn't read tie-dye when you first walk out. And I'm not the biggest fan of it. My favorite thing about this is that she like stoned the little butterfly around her actual butterfly tattoo, which I thought was neat.
Oh, that was cute.
But aside from that, like, I don't know, the outfit seemed kind of like a little tie-dye shirt around a bare bones outfit.
Yeah. And I want to preface this again by saying I am an Anetra stan. She's one of my favorite queens on this season, but this is one of my least favorite runways, probably the whole season so far.
Yeah.
It just looks empty. It's not really an outfit for me. Mm-hmm. You know, like it just looks like a piece of fabric she tied around her waist and made a couple of leg warmers for. And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the theme is tie-dye, but she doesn't have enough fabric there to really sell like that is tie-dye.
Tie-dye, yeah. So for me, Anetra was not hitting this episode.
Yeah, we say that as Anetra fans. Mm-hmm. We say it with love. Up next, we have Jax.
I think this one is also one of my least favorites of the last few episodes because I just don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening? Like, she has an orange jumpsuit on, and then I think it's supposed to be like almost like slime, kind of, with the top. But it doesn't give me tie-dye. It doesn't give me fashion. It doesn't give me camp.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's giving. But it's not giving it to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan. I don't know. I don't like this either. Again, like she's in the bottom two. I don't agree with her being in the bottom two, but I think you could justify it if you factor in the runways this episode, because this is like one of my least favorite looks of the night. Mm-hmm. It's not fun to look at. I don't understand the orange undersuit that she's wearing, which is one of the things she was called out for also. The hair looks good though.
I don't like it.
The hair's fun. Oh, you don't like it? I know, it was fun.
I feel like a hater this episode.
Maybe.
Like,
I think if the hair with a different outfit might work.
Yes, I think the hair with a different outfit would work.
Well, I'm only looking from the neck up. I'm just saying I like the hair.
The neck up, she looks great.
I'm just like, if you could put your hand up.
If you like squint and then kind of like close your eyes a little bit and just imagine, she looks good.
No, you are a hater. No, the hair looks good. It's fun. I like it. I just don't like it with this outfit.
Yeah, I think that she looks fantastic from the neck up, and I think the hair would have been great. Even if the greens would have matched, but they just clashed a little bit too much for me.
Yeah.
Up next, we have Loosey RUNWAY.
I like this outfit. I like the silhouette. I like that she tied like the purple sleeve in with it. I'm not the biggest fan of like the print, but also I'm not the biggest fan of tie-dye. So I mean, given what they had to work with, I think this is like a best case scenario. I do wish like they went for more like classic tie-dye, which is kind of like the full like rainbow tie-dye, which is what Sasha did, which we'll talk about later. But again, like I think she looks good. I love that she's wearing matching hair to RuPaul's this episode.
Yeah.
And
I think she looks fantastic. I think the purple suit, the purple like mesh cat suit underneath the dress, I think this is kind of what Jax was going for, but instead of it matching the dress, I think she wanted it to be something that, is like a bold like statement color.
Yeah.
I think that if it was, like if Jax's was opaque, like it was completely not see-through, you couldn't see it at all, but Loosey's is like, it's mesh. And I think it lends a little bit more towards like skin texture with it being more mesh like this instead of opaque. Because whereas Jax's was kind of giving like morph suit, this is giving, she painted her skin purple. And I think it works a lot better. It looks a lot less bulky. It fits with the dress a little bit more. And I think she looks great.
Yeah, it's very like tie-dye Ice Queen.
Yes, she looks like she's from Ice Planet Barbarians. If you know, you know. Yeah,
I enjoy this look. It's one of my favorites tonight. And following her is Miss Robin Fierce.
I think Robin looks very beautiful here. I like the slightly sculpted hair, but it has like a lot of movement at the end. And I think it fits really well with the style of her dress because the bottom is so flowy. It's giving me Greek goddess, but like tanged down. Oh, you know who she kind of reminds me of? Meg.
Oh, Hercules?
From Hercules a little bit. With like the purple dress and kind of like the layers and stuff. It's like the vibes, I think she looks beautiful. For me, the dress is a little underwhelming, but I think she looks beautiful and I love the way that it moves.
I'm not the biggest fan of the dress. Like again, like she looks beautiful. She always looks good, but this is probably my least favorite runway I've seen of her the season so far.
Yeah, definitely.
Least favorite look in general that I've seen of her so far.
Yeah, I feel like every week, we really love Robin's runways. But this week, it's not bad per se, but it's not, I feel like, up to the same level as her other runways, which is rather unfortunate for her because she performed not very well in this challenge, and then she had her worst runway so far in the same episode.
Yeah, this feels like something that she bought off the rack and then tie-dyed herself. Yeah. That's what it feels like. I don't know, it almost doesn't seem like something she would wear. It doesn't seem like, it kind of clashes with like her style in general. So.
Yeah, I can see that because her style, everything that she's worn before this is kind of a bit more like tough. Do you know what I mean?
A little more like sturdier.
Sturdier, it's a little bit tougher, it has a little bit more edge to it. But this is just very flowy and beautiful, which I mean, maybe she's just showing some versatility. Yeah, maybe. But I feel like a lot of the queens, it seems very like different than what they normally do, and it doesn't seem like the best like put together looks for a lot of people. And my speculation is that this was probably one of the last runways they were given. Oh, maybe it's almost like an afterthought, or they were told that this isn't gonna be a runway, but that just like bring a tie-dye outfit, a tie-dye themed outfit. That could have happened. Or maybe they had a runway that was going to be this one originally, and then for whatever reason it got replaced last minute with tie-dye. Yeah, overall, not the biggest fan of this look. Next is Mistress Isabel Brooks. This is another look that I like for the most part. I don't like that it's just like a cat suit. It's just like some drapery. Yeah, it's just like a cat suit with like some drapery wrapped around it. I thought like the little shoulder piece with like the little crystal spikes was kind of cool. And like her makeup looks amazing, like the hair, the colors. She's really good like pairing all these colors together. Cohesively, I enjoy the look, but structurally I do not. It's like I said, it's just kind of drapery around like a bodysuit. For me, it's not really my favorite either for the same reasons. Like the whole look is a look. You know, like everything matches, everything fits well, everything is, it's fine. I wish she would have taken like the geode portion of it and kind of gone like farther with it, like having it come down her arm and then down her leg, and kind of the whole look was built around this like crystallized like version of tie-dye.
Yeah, it's like she didn't die, she got crystallized.
Yeah, exactly.
And now she's ready for the runway.
Yeah, exactly. I wish she would have kind of gone with that, like maybe with some like stuff coming out of like her face with like some prosthetic work. Like obviously Mistress is painted, like the mug is stamped every time, but the look is safe.
Yeah, and I wish the shoes would have matched a little bit better too.
Oh, I didn't even notice the shoes, honestly.
Shoes kind of pop against it because it's so like kind of like muted, like the pastel purples and pinks, and then it's just like a very like bright shoe. She looks amazing, but this runway does not look amazing. Ooh.
Yeah, I just feel like a lot of the Queen's runways this episode really fell short.
Up next we have Luxx Noir London.
I think Luxx looks really nice here. Like her skin, she's got that oil sheen and she's ready to go. I think the hair is my favorite part about this look because the hair is tie-dye.
Yeah.
I think that is so cool.
You know what the hair reminded me of?
What?
The hot fish from Shark Tale.
No, you know who looks like the hot fish? I thought that Luxx looked like the hot fish. Salina looks like the hot fish.
Oh, I can see that too. But with like the hair, it's literally the same hair as that fish. Like the layering and everything.
Whoever made this hair for her, she sent that picture of that hot fish.
Yeah, she's like, this is my inspo.
I want it to look like this.
Her body looks great. She looks great. The hair looks amazing. The outfit itself, I like the outfit for the most part. But again, with the tie-dye, it just feels very chaotic. It feels a little busy, like a little hectic. Like if this was like more of a simple fabric, like with all the layering and the flowiness of it, similar to her last week's runway. I love how she knows how to layer and like put stuff on her body. But just with the print itself, I think this is just an effect of tie-dye. Tie-dye is not big for a reason. It makes everything seem like so busy.
Yeah, I agree. I think that because the outfit, it has so many textures to it, and then you have everything in the same shades of tie-dye. Like you said, tie-dye is really busy, so I think a lot of the details are getting lost. I didn't even notice it until we went back to look at it, but she has like custom tie-dyed peacock feathers and ostrich feather, and it's all over the outfit, and I didn't even notice it the first time around because the outfit, it appears so busy because of the tie-dye effect.
Yeah. Like Luxx is really good about the details. There's a lot of details in this, but just the print of the fabric makes it seem like there's a lot more.
Right. And
because like even just like the cape, because of like the lines, how the tie-dye falls, it makes it seem like there's just like a bunch of little pieces.
Yeah, exactly. I think the tie-dye takes what could be a very beautiful, elegant, simplistic outfit and makes it seem a little chaotic and difficult to really grasp how detail-oriented it is.
But she looks good.
Oh yeah, she looks great.
I like the outfit overall.
It's my favorite so
It's
far.
like pattern makes it a little hectic, but that's just the nature of tie-dye. So, and under the sea, we have Salina S. Ditties.
I think she looks really good. This is probably my favorite Salina runway. It is probably the only runway so far where I'm looking at it and I think it fits her really well. I think the proportions work really well for her body shape. I think her mug looks gorgeous. She looks great. The hair matches everything. I love the wet look. I love like the cohesiveness of the outfit where the hair is wet. Everything kind of has like this aquatic kind of style. I think she looks great.
I think it's one of the best runways she's had so far. I love like the hair, like the wet hair, like it's really colorful. I think it's really smart what she did with like the seashells and like the water, because the tie-dye does add like this texture to it that works for it. I'm not the biggest fan of tie-dye, but I think going for something a little more camp and making it beautiful, it just worked out really well for her this runway. The issue I always have with her runways is the same though. There does seem like a lot of bulk in places. I do think that like it does feel like a little top heavy with like the seashells up top. And I wish she would have like kind of like brought that in a little bit. But aside from that, that's a small gripe. I still really enjoy this look. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it's really nice the way that it's made. I like how the skirt, like the ruffles that are tie-dyed on the skirt give the illusion of like waves up against like the jetty. I think it's my favorite look of hers so far. Like I would wear that. Like I love that.
Yeah, this is like the perfect level of like fashion and camp that I really enjoy. This is the kind of things that like I wish I could have brought to Drag Race, but didn't have the money or like the means to.
Right.
But this I love this shit. I love it so much. I thought she did really good. Yeah, she did great. And she was like, I know the judges didn't think so, but she was one of the standout ones from the first group for me. I think she should have been not winner, but like top 3 this episode.
She did a really good job tonight.
Yeah. Good job, Salina.
Good job. Up next, it is Marcia.
This one is my least favorite runway. The same critique that I had for Spice, where I feel like she wasn't doing the challenge. I feel like Marcia's not really doing the runway. And I know like the little bloodstains are tie-dyed, and she posted an explanation for her runway on like on her Twitter. But even the explanation, it's just not selling tie-dye. Like the theme is very simple, tie-dye. And you're not getting this like from the outfit. And even if you want to be like, okay, we'll disregard the category, do we like the look? I don't like it for the fact that like, it's almost not reading as blood. I get the story, but the way she did it, she looks like a turkey.
Stop!
I'm just not the biggest fan of it.
The turkey neck. What is it called?
The little gobble gobble? I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, whatever the turkey gobble is. Really did not like this runway either. Like, for me, not only did it not fit the category, I feel like if we're given a prompt which who knows what the actual prompt was that was given to the girls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we will say that. Who knows what was on the mood board. Maybe turkeys were on the mood board. But for me, if you have a category that says tie-dye to die for, I feel like the instructions are pretty clear, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it should be tie-dye. We should look at you and immediately say, okay, was she given a prompt of tie-dye? Like, I feel like even if we didn't like some of the other girls' outfits, we knew immediately that, you know, tie-dye was incorporated somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel like I'm getting that from Marcia's look. I don't love the construction of it. I don't like her makeup in this episode.
She's made this exact reference before. This is a direct reference to the Brady Bunch.
Oh.
Like the same thing she did with her entrance, like getting hit in the face. It's the same reference for that. And it's the same problem I had with Salina doing the same reference like twice, so close together. I don't know, it's like Drag Race is such an opportunity to showcase so many different looks and ideas and outfits, and you're doing the exact same reference you did before with a different coat of paint. And I feel like this is not the runway to do it either. With her fashion too, I think like a beautiful tie-dye, something very fun, classic decades, this would have been a great opportunity for something like that.
Yeah,
I'm really wondering like why does she go this direction with it when there's so much more opportunity and like things she could have done.
Yeah, I can see how she would want to try and steer away from kind of giving that like Twiggy kind of esque look, because that's what we would expect, you know. Maybe she's like, I want to give them something different, something conceptual, and it just didn't land. I think one of the most difficult aspects of, you know, portraying your drag on a stage like Drag Race is that sometimes it's not going to come across in the way that you think it's going to. It's just like a media thing, you know, like the story that's in your head, it goes through your head, and then when you construct it, it might lose a couple things, and then when you get there, you might lose a couple things, and then from what you're wearing to the camera, to the TV, to the person, you lose a whole bunch of stuff along the way.
Yeah. And
then we're left with turkey gobbles.
Yeah. If she went to a pageant and presentation theme was tie-dye and she showed up in this, they deduct points. Probably my least favorite runway, but as far as the end of the challenge, I thought she was high up there. Up next, we have Sasha Colby.
I think she looks great. Like, I think this is that very traditional coloring of tie-dye, and I think it was really smart to go with this because all the other girls kind of went with, you know, a more modern, kind of like monochromatic kind of tie-dye, whereas I think that this is very striking. The fact that it's made of latex kind of adds just like a little bit of sauce to it, you know, and the fascinator is not my favorite shape of fascinators, but I think it's really cool. It kind of looks like the tie-dye is like melting or dripping, and I think she did great. This
is like, whenever I heard the category was tie-dye, this is the tie-dye print, like that classic tie-dye that I was expecting a lot more people would do, and I'm really surprised they didn't. But I really enjoyed this. I think she could have gone a little bit further with like the way she has like the hat dripping. I think she could have done some stuff on the bodysuit because she loves to show body. If it had like cutouts with like mesh and then had like little dripping patterns onto like the nude mesh, so it looked like it was just kind of dripping down her body. I think it could have been a really cute moment, but overall, I think it's fine. I love like the little head moment, little poking out, like little fascinator.
Oh yeah, I really love that her whole head is covered in like the hood.
Yeah, I do think the headpiece does look like a little DIY, just in the way like things are hanging down. But also a lot of drag is DIY. I think she looks great. Yeah.
I kind of like the aspect of DIY in this scenario because it still looks really good. I really like that DIY aspect of drag. Like not everybody has like the means, the capabilities, the resources, or even the desire to have something that is like haute couture, you know what I mean? And I don't think everybody needs that or wants that, and it kind of takes away from it, you know, if everybody has Violet Chachki, like Gottmik kind of stuff. Like it's not, it loses some of that like grittiness.
Up next is Aura Mayari.
I absolutely adore everything about this look. Like I love that like androgyny with the open chest, and you can see that it is her chest. It is very masculine underneath there. I love like the full painted mug with it. I think that the sunglasses were an interesting choice, and I think it really worked here because it's kind of has like that masculine kind of like swagger to it almost. I love the fact that she's wearing a pump with the suit. I love everything about it.
I like this look too, but I am gonna say something a little controversial about it.
Okay.
And that is
I'm ready to defend.
I love that she went for something very androgynous. You know, she's like full beat mug, the pumps, like you said, but also with like a suit. But this does feel like she got just a large suit from somewhere.
Okay, yeah.
She could have got like a large suit, like bleached, tie-dyed it, and then just walked out with like a fun hair. And this is like, it's a little too simple. I think at the club, this would be a really cool look. But as far as like the Drag Race runway, I feel like there's some things that could have been done to make it a little better. Like making things fitted more, or even like lean into the androgyny a little bit more, the men's suit, and have like a half corset right here, just like bring things in.
Ooh, that would have been hot.
It does seem like a very kind of like just like flat down. Like there's not a lot of like shape to it. And it does seem like a little bulky.
I disagree with most of what you said.
Okay.
But I do agree that I think like a corset would have just been like so hot on a look like this, like a small like underbust that matched like the pattern, like the bleached tie-dye look.
Yeah. And
I think that men wearing corset or like masculine presenting people wearing corsets is just so sexy. It has like this, I don't know, it has a sexy feeling to it, and I think that if she would have had something on like that, it would have been just amazing. But this is my favorite look of the night. I really love it. Like I do think that the suit could have been fitted a little bit better, but I really love it.
I just have like a few critiques of how she could have like improved it. Like I said, like with that hair and everything, like it goes like very up. I think this could have been structured a little bit better, where it's like brought in a little bit. And like I said, like a little small corset would have brought things in. If she like tailored the pants just a little snugger.
It would have made her look really tall and like
or even other things too. Like I think if she rolled the sleeves up on this, it could have like added a little bit. Or even if like the blazer was like a little bit more open, so you saw a little bit more with like a half corset, it would have really brought in like this angle and dimension to the look.
Oh yeah.
Because I said my only thing.
Like the gap here would have given her body like a bit more shape.
Yeah, it would have just like added to the androgyny of it. And I think just really elevated the look. But overall, like I like the look, I like the idea of the look, and I like the execution mostly. But I think she could have gone a little bit further with it, and just for that reason, it's not my favorite look of the night. But I do think it's a solid look.
Up next, we have Spice.
I know I dog on her for like doing a lot of the same stuff, but that is really just with like in the challenges themselves, where I think she should show more diversity. But as far as the runway, she has a brand, and I think it works. And I thought she executed this really well. I like the asymmetrical skirt, the little lining up the side. I love like the print of tie-dye she went for. I don't know how I feel about the hair with it.
I wish the hair was black.
Yeah, I think the black hair.
Maybe some like green like highlights in it. I think the red matches well enough, but I agree that like the hair I think is the only thing that I'm not a huge fan of. I think the hair itself is beautiful. I think she could have just found one that matched the outfit a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think whenever you're tasked with a challenge where you have to give a certain thing, you have a certain prompt, a certain persona that they want to see, and then you just deliver the same old Spice, that's where the issue lies. But in this, like you said, she has a brand. Like this is Spice's rendition of tie-dye, and I think she looks gorgeous.
She loves like a strappy skirt and then like a short top with more straps. She has like little straps. That's the brand. A lot of skin and little straps.
She's a body queen.
Overall, I thought it was solid. Up next is Malaysia Baby Doll Fox.
First things first, Malaysia, if you're seeing this, that hair can be sent to me. I'll take good care of her. The hair is absolutely gorgeous. It's giving very like it's giving Beehive.
Honestly, the hair is very Etta James.
Yeah, it is. Like, I think I understand exactly what era she's going for, what she's trying to portray. I think for the most part, the dress is fine. I am not a fan of the exposed corset, especially because it's so bare. I think it just looks, it looks kind of empty. I think if maybe we could have seen a little bit of the boning in the corset, it could have given a little bit more dimension to it. But as it is, I think the corset is the most eye-catching thing on the outfit, which is not good because it's the most plain.
I'm not the biggest fan of the print of the fabric too, because whenever she walks out on stage, you don't get tie-dye from it immediately. It seems floral. If you look closely, it seems like it's a tie-dye floral, but the way it was done, again, it's a small gripe. I'm just not the biggest fan of the tie-dye print she chose. But my biggest gripe is that little corset in the middle, because like you said, it's very eye-catching. That's the first thing you look at. It's so like exposed, and it's just like, here I am, and it's just like a bare corset. It's very big, it takes up a lot of space, and it doesn't tell you anything. There's no structure. It's just a plain pink thing.
It's very distracting from the rest of the outfit. Like, she has these very beautiful ostrich feathers with a big bodice area. Like, I think that should have been the statement of the dress. Like, this moment here should have been what my eyes went to and kept it up, because she looks absolutely phenomenal from the neck up. Like, it looks gorgeous, or even from the boobs up. Like, she looks amazing. But my eyes keep getting drawn back to that plain, empty, exposed corset. Overall, I think she looks good.
Yeah.
Just the corset.
Yeah. It just, it takes it away.
So in the end, there are tops and bottoms in each episode, and Miss Aura Mayari has won her first challenge.
Do you agree?
No, I don't think so. I think Aura did an amazing job in the challenge, and her runway was my favorite. But I do think that Sasha's performance in the girl groups was the winner for me. She was so good at singing heavy metal. Like, I'm not convinced she doesn't have like a secret cover band somewhere on the dark web.
Yeah, I think either her or even Loosey are probably like tops for me. I thought Aura did well, but I wouldn't even put her in like my top 3. But I think Sasha also, like, for me, because it was very surprising, it was very different. As far as the bottom 2, we have Robin and Jax. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I think it's fine. I don't think Robin deserved to be in the bottom because, like we said earlier, her performance was, and the judges even said, safe. You know, like, I think she should have been safe, like, even low. I think Anetra should have been in the bottom this episode. I think Anetra should have been, because she didn't know any of her words. And, like, first of all, girl, you wrote them. Like, how do you not remember what you wrote? And I feel like that's like the bare minimum of a drag queen, is to like at least know the words that you're performing. I didn't really love her runway, so I think she would have been in the bottom for me. And I think she would have been with either Jax or Spice.
Yeah, for me, I don't agree with the bottom just because I feel like, first of all, the whole challenge sucked. It was an awful challenge, awful episode. But as far as like the group, there were some people that stood out as good to me. And there's a lot of people that kind of faded into the background. But no one really stuck out as like bad, except for Anetra, because she didn't know her words. And Spice, because she was just doing like herself. That stuck out to me so much. Now the bottom 2 queens, Robin and Jax, have to lip sync for their live. Jax is the winner and Miss Robin Fierce goes home. Do you agree with that result of the lip sync?
This is going to be an unpopular opinion, I think, because even from the airing to filming now currently, I've seen some of the Instagram comments, so I think it's going to be an unpopular opinion.
Okay.
But I think Robin won. In my mind, yeah. I think Jax was doing I am obsessed with the way Jax moves. It's so fluid. It is so smooth. But I just feel like Robin embodied the song a little bit more. It was very neck and neck. Like, it wasn't giving me, like, backflips behind Latrice in a ballad. But it was, like, I feel like Robin just embodied it a little bit more for me. Like, I do think that Jax did a really good job. But I think Robin was just so, like, effervescent to me. Like, I don't know. There was just something about her that I thought was really engaging and dynamic, and I enjoyed it a bit more than I enjoyed Jax's performance.
Yeah,
I'm sticking to it.
I can understand it. Like, this lip sync was very polarizing for me. I think the result, like, I'm content with the result of it just because I think it could have gone either way. You could have justified it either way. I think Robin was kind of embodying the movement, the feeling of it more, but Jax was still doing a great job. And she was doing more impressive like movements during the song. So you could really pick either person to be the winner, and I wouldn't disagree with the outcome.
I agree with you. I think it could have gone either way, and I wouldn't have disagreed with the outcome. I don't think that Jax deserved to go home based on that lip sync, but I don't think Robin necessarily deserved to go home because of the challenge. So I think either way, I would have been a little unhappy with the outcome.
Yeah.
And that brings us into the final segment of today's show, the rant.
Yeah, now we're going to rant a little bit. With the lip sync, Robin going home, I think as far as the lip sync went, fair, fine. But I don't think she should not have even been in the bottom in my viewpoint. I think Jax, you could argue, could be in the bottom. Because like I said, she was missing her beats. Robin, they literally said her problem was that she was safe and that she kind of faded into the background. But so did so many other girls. Again, Jax, they had a critique, put her in the bottom. But Anetra was low, but not in the bottom, but she literally didn't know her words.
It makes me so sad because I really enjoy Robin's drag. Like, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy her. And I really connect with what she was saying in the Untucked after her elimination, where she said that not everybody is always up here. You know, like, this is not the level that I would say most people stay at, you know? And being here is totally fine. Like, not everybody is going to be the loudest person in the room. Not everybody can be the loudest person in the room. And you don't have to be that person in order to be a sickening, really entertaining drag queen.
Yeah.
Like, she felt that the judges wanted her to be something that she wasn't. And I feel like that must be so frustrating. To finally get on this platform of RuPaul's Drag Race and then to go and then to just be told that you need to be something that you're not must be so frustrating. And then I feel like we haven't even seen her in 2 episodes, and the next time we see her, she's eliminated.
I feel like this episode, Robin was given this storyline of being like too shy, too reserved, and they even like RuPaul was saying like, oh, like why were you not like out there? And she was saying she's not really that big, huge like personality. But my thing is that if that's her storyline, why was that never mentioned anytime before this? They mention every single episode about Marcia's makeup, how they want her to wear more makeup. And whenever she wears more makeup, they comment on it. When she doesn't wear more makeup, they talk to her about it. But Robin Fierce has been given the storyline of like, she's in the background, she's too shy, she's not enough. But no one's mentioned that. Like, where's like, and she's not given any confessionals.
Right.
If you actually look at like the numbers, like breaking down the numbers, in the past 3 episodes, she had 1 confessional moment. The past 2 episodes, not a single confessional. So if you're gonna build her up, if you know she's gonna be going home, give her a couple moments. Because the queens sit for hours giving confessionals. There's sound bites, even moments where like some queens just like says something funny like, oh girl, or like, this is crazy. Like give her some of those moments. Even Irene, who was only there for 1 episode, has more confessionals total than Robin, who is leaving home on episode 6.
Yeah, I just don't, and it's hard for the fans to connect with somebody that they haven't really even seen. You know, like for us, we're looking at these episodes really closely and we see a lot of her and we really connect with her and we really enjoy her. But with people who are just casual viewers, just casual bar goers who might, you know, want to see her at the bar if they know who she is, aren't really given the opportunity to connect with her or her drag in any way. It's not fair. Like, I don't want to say it's not fair because like that's showbiz, babe, you know, but like it really must suck. You know, like I can't imagine going on Drag Race thinking this is going to be my big moment, you know, the rest of my life, the opportunity of a lifetime. And then you go and you get literally 10 minutes in 6 episodes.
Yeah. And I'm not just saying this just to defend Robin. I enjoy Robin's drag, but it's not even just her, it's also Jax.
Right.
I don't agree with Jax being in the bottom. I can understand it, it's fine. But also, while Robin has the least amount of confessionals across the whole show, Jax has the second least. And like you're saying, like, they're in the bottom now, no one's seen anything of them, and there's no emotional connection. You have 2 people that no one's seen all season, and now they're lip syncing, one goes home, and it's just like, oh, well, I didn't even know her. There's no like emotional stakes. I don't know. It's so strange. And I understand,
Very
like,
strange.
again, I'm not blaming anyone in particular. I'm not blaming the queens. Like, they're out there doing what they can do. I'm not even blaming production, because I know when this show was made, it was made for a 1.5 hour show.
Mm-hmm.
They edited it that way. And then whenever they cut it down to an hour to fit MTV, they had to trim a lot of like fat from there. And even with like the old gays moving to like the untucked, like they're doing what they can to try to still tell the story, make it understandable with like everything that's happened.
Yeah.
But as a consequence of that, like people like Robin and Jax, they're not getting like their moment in the sun, especially Robin. Robin has had no screen time. She has the least amount of followers at this moment. Like leaving the show, no one really knows her. She's had amazing runways, amazing drag, and like no one knows her.
It is a few people at the top making these decisions because they don't understand their audience. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate for us, but...
Yeah, and it's at the detriment of some of the queens, but it is what it is. It's very unfortunate. So if you have a chance, like, go support the queens, even especially the ones that are early outs. Like, you can go look at some of their looks. They are putting out amazing looks that they didn't get to showcase on the show, and they're just as deserving of the following, even if you didn't get to see a lot of what they had to offer.
Each of the girls that have already gone home are extremely talented and very good at what they do. Go follow them on social media if you haven't already, and go see what they have to offer.
But that is the way the cookie crumbles. Miss Robin Fierce is no longer in the competition, and then we now have 11 queens remaining.
Yes, that is the end of the episode today as well. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that this episode was your favorite episode of Drag Race ever, or are you in the same boat as us where we're not really feeling it?
Yeah, I personally feel like this is the worst episode of Drag Race this season so far, and one of the worst episodes in general for a plethora of reasons, but let us know what you think. We have huge disagreements with the judges, and we even have disagreements with each other.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know what you think in the comments, but come back next week where we will be doing another review of season 15. Bye.